In this video, I want to go over how to do two-digit operations quickly, and I'm going to explain these as the way that I like to do them in my head that can also help you out for further and later mathematics, because I was a high school math teacher, so I actually never taught two-digit operations. I do have a daughter and that's in second as well as third grade, so I can see the math that they were doing. And having that, secondary kind of math knowledge, there was ways that I wanted them to think through things so they could have a good number sense. Because as a high school math teacher, I can tell you that one of the biggest things that students struggle with in math was not so much the current knowledge, it's that they had a weak foundation of number sense. So I'm not sure if the way that I'm going to teach this is the exact correct way. Take it for what it is. I just want to show you the way that I like to think of these numbers that has kind of evolved as I've taught for over 14 years in the classroom and solved thousands and thousands of math problems and recorded those on YouTube. So let's go through the process. And I think the main big thing that I want to kind of stress when we're dealing with two-digit operations is understanding place value. So we have two place values here. We have a tens digit, and then we have the ones digit, okay? And when we're doing two-digit operations, what I tell my students, or what I tell, a lot of times my daughter as I was working through her, or this is just stuff I do in my head, I think about the combination of all right, we have a tens digit and we have ones digit. So if I look at the number like 78, I can think of that as that is 7 tens, which would be 70, plus 8 ones, right? So I'm breaking it down into how many tens I have plus the ones. And this thinking, the same thing, 34 is the same thing as 30 plus 4. So when I want to think about doing my operations, what I'm simply going to do is just do the operations separately. Because yes, I grew up like many of you probably, and they still teach this in school. My daughters know how to do this, but is, start on the right-hand side, add vertically, you carry over and add down. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you can actually do this math quickly. But if I was to ask you, what is 78 plus 34? You more likely are not doing that operation in your head. If you have a paper and pencil in front of you, you might do it that way. And again, this might be so easy. I might have to give you a more difficult, like a 3-digit number, and then maybe, you do it. But again, the process I'm teaching is what I would do in my head. Not what I would technically always do with the paper and pencil. So I'm going to write it down, what I would kind of write down in my head. So this might not be mathematically shown as that same way, but I want to show you what I would do if I needed to do this quickly, or at least if somebody asks me, what is 78 plus 34? Here's what I'm mentally doing. And I think it's important because understanding the difference between the tens and the digit and these place values and being able to combine them, I think has a lot of benefits for later mathematics. So what I would do is I would say, well, I want to compute this two different ways. I want to do addition for tens and I want to do condition for ones. So what I would think about this is 70 plus 30. I'll do this vertical. So this is going to be a 70 plus 30. Well, 70 plus 30 is going to be 100. And then I have 8 plus 4, which is going to be my ones. And that's going to give me a 12. Now, obviously a 12 can be broken down into a 10 plus 2. So I have an extra 10. I'll add that over to the 10 spot. Or you could easily, this is easy enough, you could just say, this is going to be 112. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be the final answer. And that's how I do that math. Now, again, I'm working with some very basic numbers, but again, hopefully you get the idea that you can do this for 2-digit. You can do this for 3-digit, just do hundreds, tens, ones, and you're just doing separate operations for each place value. And the same thing works for subtraction. In this case, again, I would just do my tens. I'd say if I give 78 and 34, I'd say, all right, well, I know I need to subtract. What is the difference between 70 and 30? That's 40. Well, what is the difference here between an 8 and a 4? Well, the difference between 8 and 4 is simply going to be a 4. So now I know that the difference in my tens is 4. The difference in my ones is 40. Difference in my ones is 4. So if I just combine them, that's going to give me a 44. Now, the one thing that does get a little difficult in this method is what if I had everything switched around, right? So if I had a 74 minus a 38, then we have to get into the borrowing, which again, they still teach, or my daughters are going through it. But if you don't have a number sense of why borrowing works, what you're really doing is you're taking away from a different place value. You're not just changing a number and then adding another number to it. You're taking away from that other place digit. So the way that same thing I would do is like, all right, if we were just to look at this mentally, if you ask me what is 74 minus 38, again, I still think of the tens. All right, well, I have to subtract a 70 minus a 30. That's going to give me a 40. Now here, we're getting into some negative numbers, right? So if I have 4, but I'm going to subtract 8, then I just say, all right, well, that is going to be borrowed 4 more, right? I still need 4 more to be able to borrow 8. So I think of that as a subtraction, which again, this is introducing negative numbers. And if you're talking about like a second or a third grader, this might not be something that we want to do mathematically. Again, I don't know, I'm not an elementary school teacher. But in my head, when I'm doing this math, I think, oh, I need to borrow 4 more. So I find that difference of tens, and then I subtract 4 from it. And therefore, that's going to give me a 36. Now let's get into multiplication. And this is actually a big one. This comes up a lot. And a lot of students know the multiplication algorithm. And there's actually these tons of tricks that you can follow for people doing this. And the problem is it doesn't make like number sense of what we are doing. And I really like using the box method to understand multiplication, to understand you're multiplying by all the digits. And yes, if I had a paper and pencil, I would probably do 8 times 4 is 32, take the 2 here, bring the 3 over there, and then do all those digits. But it gets confusing to me for students to be able to explain why we're adding that extra place value, why we're multiplying and carrying over. Like, how does this all make sense? So again, I just think about this as we have tens and ones, right? If we're going to multiply a 2-digit by a 2-digit, I need to multiply the tens by the tens. I need to multiply the 10 by the 1. I need to multiply the 10 by the 1. And I need to multiply the 1 by the ones, right? That's all the operations or combinations I have. And a couple ways we can do this on here, like some tricks you can do. I need to multiply the tens, multiply the 10 times the 1, 10 times the 1, and then multiply the ones, right? And I'll kind of explain also using the box method is what I always like, because multiplication is really finding the area. And again, this might be a little too much for students that are assuming are in 3rd grade or 4th grade, wherever they would learn this. I have no idea. My daughter hasn't learned this yet. She's just learning her multiplication tables. But again, if I understand 70 is 70 plus 8, I can break 70 to 8 over here. And I could break 30 into 30 plus 4, right? And so now if I want to find what is 78 times 34, you recognize I'm just multiplying the length and the width of each box to find the area. That's why I have tens times tens, 10 times ones, 10 times ones, and ones times ones. That's going to give me the full product of what I have here. But again, if you were to ask me 48 times 34, I'm not going to do a paper and pencil and do 8 times 4, carry it over, and then put a 0, then do 3 times 8 and 3 times 4. I'm not going to do that in my head. But I can do, and trust me, with a little bit of practice, can do this too, and you can get better at it. I can do 10 times 10. That is going to be my 40. I guess I don't have enough vertical space. So I could do 40 times 30, which is equal to 1,200 or 1,200. Let's go ahead and move that over. That's probably the hardest one that I have. Just I'm remembering there's 2 zeros. Then I have a 10 times 1. So now I can do a 40, right? Because again, you're thinking about 48 as 40 plus 8. So I could do 40 times 4. 40 times 4, that's the first one, right? That gives me a 160. Now let's do the other 10 times 1. 30 times 8. So I could do a 30 times 8. 30 times 8, and that's going to be a 240. Then I have 4 times 2, which is easy. That's going to be a 32. So you could write all these down, or sorry, 8 times 4. Let's write it down. You could write all this down, or you could actually even memorize this in your head as you're looking into doing the computation. If you were to ask me this, that's exactly what I'd be able to do. I'd say 1,200. Okay, keep that number, right? And then I do 160. Okay, so that'd be 1360. And then I remember that number, and then I get 240. And then I keep on adding it, and then I add 32, and then voila, I can do that quickly. So it takes a little practice, right? But in reality, all I'm simply doing is doing 1,200 plus 160 plus 240 plus a 32. And maybe even if you don't have paper, and even if you do have paper and pencil, you can quickly add this up. That's going to be a 10, that's going to be a 13. Again, you could add all this up in your head, or do 3, 4, 5, 6. you could say 1632. And voila, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you approach it. So again, I'm just a simple math teacher or a high school math teacher. So I'm not sure if any pedagogy on this is going to be correct for the younger grades. But if you were to ask me how would I do these problems in my head, this is the way that I do it in my head. And that could be right, that could be wrong. It could be up to, individual preference. I don't know. But I felt like it was important to kind of share because I feel like having a good sense of numbers, having a good foundation of number sense is going to serve you well for future mathematical topics. So hope this video is helpful for you. If you like more videos like this, then check out the next video I have for you here or the videos I have for you down below. Cheers.